So Apple finally came out with a dedicated MagSafe battery pack for the iPhone 12 lineup, and it's trash. Let's ramble.
Hold up, face go wild when I pull up. They all on me like they want some.
Hey, what's up guys? It is great to see you all again, and if you're new here, I'm Patrick and this is where I ramble about tech and other stuff. So if you've been to the channel for a bit, you know that I had a little bit of a struggle picking the right iPhone last year. I tested them all and I landed on the Pro Max initially, but I couldn't let go of how fun it was to use the 12 mini and how convenient it was. I didn't use the Pro Max's camera nearly as often as I thought I would, and the size started to really bother me. So I switched back to the mini and I'm still using it today. I love how pocketable it is and I can use it with one hand. It's super convenient, except one thing. Its dreadful, awful battery. I swear it loses 10% of juice by just looking at it. I never get through a full day without charging it, so from the moment it came out, I've been waiting for Apple to release a battery pack. Sadly, Apple hasn't produced a charging case this year, but they did recently come out with this dedicated battery pack, which makes sense because Apple is clearly headed towards a cordless, portless future for the iPhone. So here it is. Was it worth the wait? Absolutely not. And throughout this video, I'll show you why I think that, and I will also compare it to two solid alternatives, the Anker PowerCore Magnetic 5K and the Xera MagSafe Power Bank. We'll have a look at the design, the weight and dimensions, how well it sticks to the phone, how it feels in the hand, whether it charges while performing heavy tasks like gaming, how fast it charges the iPhone, pass-through charging, whether it outputs via the cable, and a few other things. Now, before we start, I just want to mention that none of these batteries are very good at charging the iPhone from scratch. It'll take a very long time and they might not even get there. The way I think these are intended to be used is to provide a charge while using the phone or to just put it away for a second, just to prevent your phone battery from draining too much. If you want to fully charge your phone, it is still much better to use a wall charger, your MagSafe charger, or even a powerful battery bank. But of course, none of those are as pocketable as these little guys, so that's where they fit in. Right, so let's have a look at the design. The Apple MagSafe Battery Pack is designed as you would expect from Apple, sleek and minimal. It has one port, a lightning port. Why Apple? Why? The entire world is on USB-C. None of my devices that aren't an iPhone have this port. Why do you insist on having us carry around a redundant cable? And then not include it in the box. But Patrick, that's bad for the environment. You're right, and maybe that's what it says in this included documentation that nobody ever reads. Also missing from the design are battery indicator lights. It has one light, and when it's full, it's green. When it's charging, it's amber. Literally, the only way to know how much juice is left on the pack is to attach it to your iPhone and check the animation really quick, which will show the status of the phone battery and the battery pack. Or if you miss that, you can check the battery widget on the iPhone. And it's a cool widget, don't get me wrong, but I really don't want to grab my phone just to know whether I need to charge this thing or not. By the way, I've seen a couple of reviews on YouTube ridiculing the charger because the MagSafe charging animation doesn't even show up when you stick it to your iPhone, thereby not making it a true MagSafe charger. But that's because they didn't update their iPhone to the latest firmware, because if you do, as you've just seen, there is the animation. On the back, you'll see the MagSafe marks, where the pack will align with the charging coil on the iPhone. Fun little fact is also that the Apple logo aligns with the Apple logo on the phone, which makes positioning the battery even easier. But let's be honest, you'd have to be pretty thick to misplace this battery, especially on the iPhone mini. And that's it. That's all there is to this battery pack. Now let's move on to the Anker PowerCore Magnetic 5K. The Anker is slightly smaller, but a little thicker than the Apple one. And we'll weigh all three of them later on in the video to see what the difference is there. It has 4 battery indicator lights so you can actually see how much juice is left. And it has a status light which becomes solid when it's charging. So what else is there to USB-C on this battery pack? And guess what? Here's the little cable that comes with it. Thank you, Anker, thank you. The Anker also has the MagSafe marks on the back, but it does not show the MagSafe animation, and you have to press the power button for it to start charging. If you don't press it, nothing happens. But because this 5K battery pack has USB-C, it can also charge things that way, and that can come in very handy. Take this for example. This is a tiny little Apple Watch charger by Satechi. You just plug it into the Anker and boom. Tiny portable Apple Watch charging station. And of course, using the cable, you can charge most of your other stuff. The Apple charger cannot do that. The Lightning cable doesn't provide any output, so you can only use the cable to charge the battery pack itself. All right, now let's have a look at the Xera MagSafe Power Bank. This is definitely the smallest and the thinnest of the bunch. Interestingly, it does not have the smallest battery capacity, but we'll get to that in a minute. Like the Apple Pack, it is rounded on one side and flat on the other side. It has USB-C and 4 indicator lights. Again, very useful to quickly see how much charge there is on this thing. It comes with a magnetic cable, which is pretty nifty, and it comes with a little fold-away stand, so you can actually use this as a charging stand for your desk. I've had this battery pack for a while now and I've never used the stand myself, so no idea where I put it, but thankfully I still had some footage of the first time I featured this in another video. And this one actually does show the MagSafe animation after you press the power button. The Xera also feels like it has the strongest magnet, so combined with its small form factor, it will be difficult to knock this one off accidentally. The Apple one is pretty strong too, the Anker one not so much. So how much do each of them weigh? Of course it says it on the packaging, but I like to test these things myself, on the good old kitchen scale. The Apple charger comes in at 116 grams. Xera's charger weighs 101 grams, and the Anker one is the heaviest at 131 grams, but that was to be expected as it is the chunkiest of the bunch. Anyway, they're all lightweight and the difference in weight is not substantial enough to be a deciding factor, at least not for me. But there is a difference in how they feel in the hand. Now, normally I hate it when reviewers say how something feels in the hand, but in this case, it's actually quite relevant, so let's have a look. So the Apple one looks and feels like it is made for the iPhone 12 mini. It fits like a glove, and what's funny is that it will also show the battery's outline in the MagSafe animation. It's bulky, but not so bulky that it bothers me. It does feel a little slippery because of the smooth finish on the outside, so it doesn't provide much grip. But it does have a rubbery inside, which prevents it from sliding around on the phone. Overall, it feels good. The magnets are strong. Yeah, it feels good. Now, the Xera charger has a strong magnet too, and it snaps on the phone really easily. You do need to be a bit more precise positioning it as it's smaller than the Apple charger, and it does not follow the lines of the phone like the Apple one does. While the magnet's very strong, it does slide when you twist it because the backside is made out of hard plastic and no rubber, and the aluminum ridges seem to be slightly higher than the plastic. Just something to be mindful of. Right, so how much charge is in these batteries? Now, this might surprise you. The Anker has by far the biggest capacity at 5K mAh, followed by the smallest battery in size, the Xera, that holds a 3K mAh charge. And the Apple battery only has 1460 mAh. But that doesn't give you all the information because the Apple Pack uses two batteries that both output double the voltage the other batteries do at 7.62 volts. So if you look at it that way, if the 1460 mAh would be output at 3.6 volts, which is the standard, that would equate to about 2920 mAh, which is about the same as the Xera battery. And we also need to take into consideration that the Apple battery will of course be the most optimized one to use with iOS. Alright, so probably one of the most important questions is how fast will each of these batteries charge your phone? To test this, I placed each one of these packs on the iPhone for exactly 30 minutes to see how much battery percentage will be added after half an hour of MagSafe charging. By the way, I've heard some people say that the battery pack doesn't charge past 90% to protect the iPhone's battery, and while that's true, you can very easily change that. Just pull down the control center, long press the battery, and toggle charge past 90%, and it will actually charge it to 100%. So let's have a look at the results. Obviously, I'll speed things up. I like hanging out with you guys, but I don't expect you to be looking at a timer for 90 minutes. All right, so we're starting off with the battery at 15%. We'll stick it to the Apple Pack and watch the result after exactly 30 minutes. As you can see, the Apple Pack provided a charge of exactly 20% after half an hour. So the Anker Power Pack charged it further to 54%, which would mean a 19% charge. But to be fair, there was some time between the two tests and the phone dropped a percentage or two before testing, so let's call this a draw. Now, the Xera battery charged the battery from 54 to 70%, and this time there was almost no time between the two tests. So that means that the Xera pack charged the phone by 16%. So both the Apple charger and the Anker pack charged it by about 20%, and the Xera one was a bit slower at 16%. Now, of course, this is not a very scientific test, and it would have been even more accurate had I started the charge from the same 15% point, but it gives you a general idea of the MagSafe charging capabilities of each of these batteries. Also note that all three of them have pass-through charging, and Apple's will charge about twice as fast as the other two when connected to the cable. But that's not how we will be using these things, right? If I have a wall outlet available, I'll obviously be using an actual power brick or even a MagSafe puck, but definitely not one of these. When they're not plugged in, all three of them provide the same 5 watts output, so be mindful of advertising tricks when these companies quote maximum charge speeds or output, and always check if that relates to MagSafe charging or wired charging. So what about wireless charging for non-MagSafe accessories? Let's have a look if these three can do regular Qi charging by testing this little aperture light that is Qi compatible. Alright, so here is the Anker battery, and there we go, it's charging. So that one works. The Xera one, press the button, works. And last but not least, the Apple one. And it works. So the answer is yes, all three batteries can wirelessly charge your Qi-enabled products. So how long does it take to charge the actual packs themselves? Both the Apple and the Xera pack charge from empty to full in 1 hour and 15 to 20 minutes. The Anker battery takes a little over 3 hours to take a full charge. Now keep in mind that of course, this battery is also a lot bigger and has the biggest capacity. I've seen some reviewers claim that the Apple pack doesn't charge the phone when you're using it for heavier tasks like gaming. Personally, I haven't had this issue. Maybe the games I play aren't resource intensive enough, but for me, all three packs keep charging the phone while playing games as well. Last but definitely not least, before we get to our verdict, how much do these units actually cost? The Xera battery is the cheapest at $49.99, followed by the Anker battery, which retails at around $54. But the Apple battery costs a whopping $99 US. Right, so what's the final verdict? All three batteries do what they're supposed to do, which is to keep your phone charged a little bit longer when you're away from home and you don't have access to a wall charger. But both cheaper batteries do more than that and function as a little power bank to charge other things as well. Given the very significant price difference, in my opinion, the only reason to buy the Apple Magsafe Battery Pack is if you insist on having the Apple branded shiny accessory to go with your shiny iPhone. The Apple battery is not better than the other two, and in some ways it's even worse. Both the Xera and the Anker are great value for money, they both come with cable, and the Xera comes with a few more knickknacks. If size matters to you and you want the smallest possible battery, get the Xera. You'll barely notice it's there. If you want the battery with the largest capacity, go with the Anker. Guys, I hope this video was useful to you. If it was, please give it one of these. It really does help the channel. Subscribe for more content. Thank you so much for watching and see you in the next one.